God warns the enemy is stealing your miracle. If you skip this, you'll miss a critical truth about what you did today and what it means for your future. Don't go. Stop doing whatever it is you're doing. Turn down the noise around you. If someone else is nearby, they shouldn't be here right now. It's just for you. Before we begin, take a deep breath. Good. Because what I'm about to say isn't just something to listen to while you do something else. What's coming needs all of you, chosen one. There was a big event this morning that I want to talk about with you because I think you might not fully understand what you did. You chose. It could have been quiet. Maybe no one saw it. It might not have seemed important at all. You picked to stay calm even though you wanted to react. To trust even though all the evidence said not to, or to keep going even though you felt like giving up. Even though you didn't feel like it, you chose to pray because you still thought there was a reason to. Even though everything was telling you to let it go, you chose to get up, not say anything, and keep your cool. Also, I need you to know something important. Heaven saw it. We don't say it in a soft, comforting way to make people feel better. I mean something very specific, something that has a name, a way it works, and a result that is happening behind the scenes while you listen. And what you did today, that quiet small act of faith, it moved something. And it's not just words. I mean, when I say heaven changed its path because of you, I'm going to show you what that really means. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel, your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose. Join the conversation and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today. Join our community and see what God brings back into your life. Okay. Let me ask you a question first. I want you to be honest with yourself when you answer. Having a hard time staying awake? Not the kind of tired that a good night's sleep can fix, but a heavier kind that makes your bones hurt even after you've rested. Like your body is carrying a weight that your mind can't quite put a name on yet. There's no health risk there. Your spirit is going through something on a level that most people can't. It means you're getting ready to hold something very real. Have you noticed how your emotions go up and down? How peace comes out of nowhere, then a quiet sadness, and then a strange hope. It all doesn't make sense. The outside world hasn't changed, and no one has made you mad, but how you feel has. No, that's not a sign of instability. It's your inner frequency shifting between layers, and it's a lot more important than people have told you. Did you feel anything when you made that choice this morning? There was no voice or vision, just a quiet certainty that sat on top of all the noise. You knew it was the right thing to do, even though there was no proof and things looked the same. The gamma switch is the subject of a study from Princeton. When people make a choice based on faith, they go into a certain brain frequency. I'll do that. I'll tell you what it means for you. Not yet, though. First, I need to show you what's going on in the invisible world right now and why some mornings are different from others like this one. Before I go any further, one more thing. When you're by yourself, have you ever felt like a room wasn't really empty? It wasn't scary. It was just a quiet awareness that someone or something was there and paying attention. That's not something you made up. What you're feeling has a name and it will explain everything I've been saying. We'll talk about it again. Now, I'm going to explain how this morning was even possible. Because most people don't understand the chosen one's journey, the hard years, the waiting, the quiet times, and the times when it seemed like nothing was happening. That wasn't a punishment. You were remembered by God. They were part of God's plan all along. Every season you thought was a waste of time was actually making you stronger. Each year of silence taught you how to keep calm when things get tough. When no one was looking. Every time you stayed faithful, something was being built in the exact shape of the person who would be able to make the choice you made this morning. Each and every one, a woman named Esther lived. And her story isn't what most people think it is. It isn't about being saved in a big way from the outside. It's a story about getting ready on the inside. She lived in a palace for years and learned how to be powerful without letting it change her. She also learned how to be in a dangerous room without losing herself. On the outside, it looked like any other day in the palace. It didn't look like her fate was being planned. The next morning they took one step and chose to walk toward the king. Even though it would have been easier and safer to walk away for a whole country, she stopped the death penalty. She had no idea that morning was morning. She chose to stay true even though it cost her something. I want you to give that some serious thought because the morning your choice moved heaven wasn't a coincidence. It was the first morning that you were really ready for what was to come. I need to show you something in the original language. Now, because when it's translated, it changes the whole picture and leaves out something important. There is a Hebrew word for that shack. A lot of people translate it as return or repent. But that doesn't show what it means. Shub doesn't mean to go backwards. It doesn't mean to give up or fix something. When you shu, you mean to change your mind. Like a general who gets new information on the battlefield and doesn't freak out. He does not give up on the mission. He changes. He moves everything he has toward the new point of breakthrough that just appeared. Shub is the word that comes after plan in the Bible when it says that God changed his mind or that heaven reacted. Think about getting a GPS. The GPS doesn't turn off when you pick a road that wasn't on the first route. It doesn't say you failed. It only says recalculating. This isn't because you made a mistake, but because you chose a higher road that wasn't on the original map. The system changes all of its directions right away quietly and accurately to get you to your destination via this new path. That's what took place this morning. You picked a path and heaven did some more math. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Koei community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself. Jesus says, this is not history. It is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Let's talk about what's coming up until the very end of this message. There is a deep truth about who you are in God's plan that most people in church have never been taught. You'll understand what your frequency has to do with what God can send you. I'm going to say something directly over your life before this ends. Very strong words. I think you'll remember it long after I'm gone. Do not leave before then. Now, let me tell you something I haven't already. What I just told you about the Shub Esther story and the unusual morning is only the beginning of what I want to show you. Because there is a bigger question behind it all. What is it about your choice that makes heaven move? How does it really work? What is it about the faith-based action of a chosen one that changes the GPS of eternity? And not just any action, but this one. Everything I just told you will make a lot more sense when you know the answer to that question. It has to do with something researchers at Princeton found and called the gamma switch. I already talked about that word. I haven't told you yet. You'll have a new perspective on prayer, faith, and why some mornings feel different from others when I do. That's on the way. But right now, type 444 in the comments if something I said confirms something in your spirit. If the word shub spoke to you, or if the idea that your morning moved heaven isn't just wishful thinking, but something you can feel is real. 444, which is the number of a base being put down. It needs to be sealed because of what it made you think of this morning. What you heard was the first big secret because you are not normal. Your morning wasn't normal. Your choice changed something that couldn't be seen. And the word shub that comes after God's answer isn't just a figure of speech. That's how it works. Now though, I want us to really think about this question. Not how your choice changed things or what heaven did, but how. How does the process work? When a chosen person makes a choice based on faith, why does God react? What makes God react to this choice from this person? This will be shown to you from 3 different points of view. After that, I want to take you even further. When a chosen person does what God wants, the first thing that heaven does is rewrote them. Not making something from scratch. It's just changing the path of something that's already there. The person who was supposed to meet someone else today instead meets you. The door that was supposed to close in 4 days stays open. The talk that was going to happen without you stays in the background. Things that were moving in a different direction start to change. When you choose faith, God doesn't just make new things appear out of thin air. He quietly and precisely turns things around to face you. He doesn't say anything and you won't be able to see it happen from where you are, but it is taking place. The second thing heaven does is speed up. God doesn't always do things at the same time. There are many things that can change the time. The man Joseph helped forgot about him. So he went to prison for 2 years. 2 years of not talking. Then Pharaoh had a dream one night. The man thought of Joseph and things that should have taken years happened in just a few hours. A forgotten prisoner in the morning. He was second in charge of all of Egypt by night. It wasn't luck that was speeding up, caused by a moment of loyalty that Joseph thought no one saw. It's possible that the time you thought would take 5 years is now only 5 months away. From inside, you can't see the compression, but the date has already changed. The third thing heaven does is show us things. God starts telling people things when one of His chosen ones is living in line with His will. Not thunder or scary visions, but a clear understanding. A quiet knowledge about a choice you've been thinking about for months. An intuition that is so clear that you don't feel surprised when certain things happen. You just know what it is. A peace that doesn't make sense for you right now. That's insights coming down from heaven to someone who is tuned in to receive them. These three things are not going to happen rerouting, speeding up, and revealing. They're not going to wait for you to finish this. They're taking place right now. I'll show you this through a life that many people know, but not many really understand. When Moses walked back to Egypt, he was 80 years old. It had been 40 years since he ran away. It was literally carved out of the monuments that his name was on them. Egypt had forgotten about Moses. He was a shepherd and the bush was on fire in the middle of the desert, and he didn't feel confident at first. It was a struggle he fought. He explained why he wasn't fit for the job. In the Hebrew original, the text then just says, he went one choice, one step back toward what can't be done from what we can't see. The 10 plagues began as soon as that step was taken. The way through the Red Sea was already being prepared. The manna was ready to go. It was already planned out how to get through the wild. That wasn't something Moses knew. He chose to go. Please listen slowly. The fact that Moses didn't see the water moving doesn't mean that it wasn't moving. The fact that he didn't feel the change at that moment doesn't mean that history wasn't going on below him. It wasn't confirmed in the courts of heaven just because no one told him so. It wasn't really an old man walking towards something that couldn't happen, even though that's how it looked. That's your morning. You can do that. It's possible you didn't feel it. You might not have seen any sign. You may have just moved and it felt small, bad, and normal. The rule stays the same, though. With one step based on faith, the whole structure of heaven began to move around it. Now, I'm going to show you something that changes everything that most people have been taught wrong. A Greek word for this is metanoia. Many English Bibles translate it as repentance, which makes people think of feeling bad about something they did and turning away from it. The word doesn't mean that. That translation has led to a lot of confusion for decades. Meta means above, beyond, or outside of the present level. Nous means mind. The word metanoia means to think in a different way than what you are currently thinking. It's not to feel bad about the past, but to think in a different way and deal with your problems from above instead of inside them. It's not just praying that a chosen one does when they make a faith-based choice. It's metanoia. They're choosing to think from a level that hasn't even been proven by their situation yet. Going from just surviving to thinking with faith is the exact change that heaven is going to respond to. This is why that's important. People who are thinking in survival mode can't hear God's messages. He isn't stopping to send them. But the channel you're on isn't set up to receive them. You can find the information. There is help. It's clear, but your antenna is pointed in a different direction. When metanoia moves the antenna, something that has been trying to get to you for months finally gets through. A name has been given to this state by scientists. Gamma is the name for it. Metanoia was the word used in old spiritual traditions for it. There are two different words that both refer to the same frequency. Going to show you a link between those two things that will change the way you think about your mornings and what you do when you wake up for a long time. That's on the way. But I need you to understand this right now. Heaven does more than just watch what you do. Because of them, heaven does things. Because of what you did this morning, things are already rerouting, speeding up, and revealing. I know that you still want to believe this, but you just can't quite get it yet. A part that has been let down so many times that it knows to hold on to its hopes. You don't have to ignore that part. It's there because your faith has cost you something. And real things are things that have cost you something. But what I showed you today, Moses, metanoia, and the 3 ways heaven reacts isn't just nice words. There are no religious words in this speech. It is not a motivational speech. This is an explanation of something that works already. And the deepest truth that lies beneath it all is revealed next. This is why your choice can cause all 3 of these responses. I need you to stay for it because it's bigger than what I've talked about today. But before we go there, please press the like button slowly right now. If anything I just said touched your heart, if the Moses story or the word metanoia made you feel something, but not for this channel. This is for someone who made a quiet choice this morning and doesn't know what they started yet. Let your life be the one to give this to them. Now, I'm going to talk about something that most people have never been taught directly. I want to be clear about it and not soften it because I think you're ready for it. Because of what you've been taught about how God works, you can only take it in. You were told that God has a clear plan that was written down before you were born and will not change. It is your job to find it, follow it, and not stray. The plan is broken if you stray. It's possible to miss your chance if you wait too long. It sounds humble to think that way, but it takes away your power. And when we look closely, the Bible doesn't show us that. Let me show you the other side. Not to question what you believe, but to correct you in a way that I think will free you today. What you were taught, your life will always go in the same direction with God. What is really true is that God has a plan for your life and that plan is open to 1,000 different, clear's throat, ways to get you there. What you learn, if you mess up, you'll lose your way. That's not true. If you choose faith after making a mistake, God doesn't throw you away. He learns from his mistake and makes the second route even more accurate than the first. You were taught that prayer tells you what God wants. What's really true is that prayer is how God responds to what you want and makes it happen. Because he planned for your deepest desires to match his plan from the start. What you were taught, you are a vessel that is being filled. The truth is that you are a source of frequency. Heaven is set up to hear your signal, not just send things your way. It's passive to wait as you were taught. That which is true. The most active thing a chosen one can do is wait in faith. As they wait, the person who is being formed is the only one who can handle what is to come. You learn that God's plan is a straight line. What's really true, God's plan is still alive. Every faith-based choice you make gives it life, makes it bend and changes its path. That's what it means to shove. That's what took place this morning. I want to take you to Joseph. Now, it's not the end of his story. Everyone knows how it ends. I want to show you something that most people skip over. Joseph was locked up. It wasn't just a hard time that was almost over. At this point, he had been there for years. His interpretation of a dream was correct for a man who worked in the palace of Pharaoh and promised to help him escape. After that, he went back to his life and forgot all about it. 2 more years of nothing. 2 more years of pain on top of the 10 years that had already been felt. Then one night, Pharaoh had 2 very scary dreams. He called together all of Egypt's wise men to talk about them. The dreams were hard to understand for everyone. The man who had forgotten about Joseph then felt something. He also thought of the Hebrew prisoner who had rated his dreams so accurately that it had changed his life. He told Pharaoh, and Pharaoh sent for Joseph. In just one day, Joseph went from being a prisoner to being second in charge of all of Egypt. Not by chance did Pharaoh have those dreams on that particular night. Not one of the wise men was able to explain them by chance. The man who had forgotten something didn't remember at that exact moment by chance. Not by chance had Joseph spent 10 years waiting in the desert, learning how to be powerful without drawing attention to himself. He was building the kind of character that could handle what was about to be put on his shoulders. There was no chance in any of it. Everything was moving already from inside the prison. Joseph just couldn't see it. Now I want to talk to the person who still feels like they are locked up because I hear a voice and want to name it because that's the first thing that needs to be done to stop being controlled by it. Nothing I do really matters to God. The voice says I'm not big enough. My morning wasn't important. Millions of other people of bigger callings, more well-known stories, and more dramatic testimonies. Nothing I've done has changed anything that I can see. I'm alone, quiet, and no one knows who I am. That voice isn't bad. It's not being weak. Allow me to explain what it is. It sounds like someone who has put their faith in something so many times without seeing any proof that they found a way to keep themselves safe. At some point, their mind said, if I don't think I matter, I won't be hurt when I'm ignored again. The fall won't be as bad if I keep my hopes low. That's not believing. That's sad. Doubt that looks like sadness. Deep down, if you follow that feeling long enough, you'll find something. Not just a vague sense that you're not good enough. A certain moment. One time you chose faith. It really cost you something. And the proof never came. Without saying it out loud, your soul said, I can't afford to believe like that again. I see what you mean. And I want to tell you something straight out. There is no such thing as doubt and faith at the same time. It shows that your faith has cost you something. That thing that cost you something is real. Here's the good news. You can doubt and still be chosen. People can trust you with important things. Even if you're not sure about something, if you cried this morning, you could still have moved heaven with that morning. Even if you feel small, you can still be the one who changed everything. You can carry around everything you don't understand for as long as you need to. Also, you don't have to do a perfect job for God. You only owe Him what you gave this morning, and that was enough. Let me leave you with one last picture before I move on to the next part. Think about what a GPS does when you pick a road that wasn't on the original plan. It doesn't say you failed. You don't have to go back and start over. It only does one thing, recalculating. It does it quickly and quietly without any worry or criticism. This is where it starts, not where you plan to be or where you were supposed to be. It makes the most precise path from here, from where you are, from who you are now, with all of the detours, quiet times, and turns you didn't expect. Heaven isn't getting smarter because you got everything right in the end. From where you are now, heaven is recalculating because you chose faith. That's the only thing that is needed. You met it this morning. The voice that tells you your choices don't reach heaven has been inside you. That your morning wasn't long enough. That God can't answer you in some way. I want you to do something now. In the comments, type "I release." This is your way of saying that you're letting go of the limit that voice has been putting on you. It's not because things feel different yet. It's because you want to believe the truth before you see proof. Type it. I release. Stay with me. That's because what comes next isn't just more of the same truth. The truth that follows makes everything I've said today seem like a warm-up. The thing that changes not only how you understand things today, but how you understand yourself in general. I'm also going to say something directly to you before this message ends. I think a strong statement was put on my heart just for this moment. Do not go anywhere. This is what I've been building up to since the start of this message. I'll show you how everything fits together. Your morning was special. The first clue told you it's not because of what you did, but who made the choice. The second reveal revealed to you. When you act in line with God, heaven springs into action, rerouting, accelerating, revealing. All three already happening. God's plan isn't a strict script you have to find and follow. The third reveal said, it's alive. It responds. And every faith-based choice you make changes its path. But none of those really answer the question at hand. The one I've been getting close to since this message began. That is not how your choice makes heaven move, but why? Why does all of this happen? Because of your choice. What makes the morning of a chosen one change the structure of eternity? There is just one answer. And please take your time to understand. You're not doing what God wants you to do. God's plan is you. Please think about that for a while, because most of what you've learned makes you the receiver of God's plans that already exist. It's like God wrote the whole story before you were born. And all you have to do is find your part and not change anything. But if we look closely, that's not what the Bible tells us. Joseph wasn't the one who found out what God wanted to do in Egypt. The plan was Joseph. The plan to feed 2 countries without food came together around him, through him, and because of him. She wasn't sent to the palace to carry out a story that had already been written. She chose to become the story in real time. Moses was not a part of a plan that was used and then thrown away. He was the one who made the plan come together the way it did. You weren't just fitting yourself into God's schedule this morning when you chose faith in the middle of your normal quiet life. You were the one who made the time flow. I hear something from the Father over everyone who is hearing this. I want to try to put it into words. I didn't make a plan first and then make you to fit into it. He says, I made you and the plan grew out of you. This choice changes the structure of what I'm building every time you make it behind closed doors. And when it costs you something real and quiet, you're not just a part of the puzzle. You've never been a piece. The puzzle has the shape it does because of you. Now, I want to tell you exactly who you are. Because knowing who you are without specifics is just motivation, and you deserve more than motivation. You can see things. That means other people can't see what you see. If you felt this morning that something was right before you had any proof, that wasn't just wishful thinking. That's how your psychic power worked exactly as it should have. It said that you carry light. What that looks like in real life isn't always exciting either. Sometimes it's just choosing not to act when everyone else was ready for an explosion. That peace and silence you chose to keep was like light coming into the room. People knew something had changed, but they couldn't put their finger on it. You fight the battle of the spirit, not because you're loud, but because you don't give up. The more pressure you're under and the longer you hold on, the more likely it is that something in the unseen world will change its mind about its plan to hurt you. You have a voice. You carry the words that other people feel but can't say yet. Do not keep the words inside you to yourself. Other people have been waiting to hear them. They couldn't put the words together on their own. When you finally show it to them, they'll know right away because it was always theirs, too. It's true that you break cycles. The reaction, the old fear, and the pattern that ran in your family before it reached you were things you refused to carry this morning. They ended with you. It doesn't get passed on. The people who come after you start from a different place. That's not a little thing. What a difference a generation makes. You're not too little for any of this. You're not too broken to do any of these things. It's not too late to do any of this. You've never been too normal for any of this. You've never been those things. That story was told to you by people who didn't know what they were seeing. I'd like to do something with you now. Don't move from where you are. You don't need to move. Pay close attention to this for a moment. I want you to think back to this morning. Bring yourself back to the exact moment you made that choice. Where were you? Have you ever thought about what it would be like to choose faith over fear? Think about that moment very clearly. I want you to see something that you couldn't see at that time. Think about the space around you at that very moment. Instead of seeing the normal room, street, or place you were, I want you to see what was going on in the invisible, not chaos. Do it right. Things are beginning to move. People who are living their own lives are all of a sudden thinking about you for no reason. A door that was shutting, stopping, a timeline that is changing somewhere. It was all going on in the background, like how a river shifts and changes course when something moves in its way. That's what was really going on. I'm not using that as a metaphor to make you feel better. In those words, you can describe a system that scientists have been trying to understand and name for 20 years. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit Community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the Word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry. When Jesus says, "Give and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall. Share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit our community now. Join the family and see your heavens open. These are the things they learned about gamma. Gamma is the frequency of the brain that is about 40 cycles per second. Scientists at MIT, Harvard, Stanford, and Princeton have studied it because it always makes people feel good. Amazingly clear, I have strong feelings. People began to call the experience of the right thing showing up at the right time synchronicity. Logic alone cannot explain this. Gamma is naturally found in large amounts in children. You can see gamma at work when you watch a child learn something they enjoy. That speed with which you learn, that happiness in the process, and that sense that everything is linked and anything is possible. In that state, the brain is working at its best. Researchers called what happens after age 7 the decline effect. Gamma levels start to drop because of how modern schools are set up. The constant noise and the pressure to do well and fit in. Not break it, just make it less. Most adults only feel gamma for short periods of time by the time they are adults. That one moment when you understand. A time of deep prayer when things become clear. A feeling of being connected to something bigger than themselves that they didn't expect. Then the noise of everyday life brings them back down. Because chosen ones were born with stronger gamma than most people, this loss hurts them more than it does most people. That's why growing up was different, why it was easier to learn, why the ties got stronger. We couldn't put into words or even explain why the world felt so alive. That's why the difference between who you were as a child and who you feel like now feels so big and wrong when gamma is turned off. Like a very important thing was taken. Like a language you used to speak well but can't remember much of these days. That's not something you made up. All of that is the gamma gap. Your brain went into a gamma state when you made your choice based on your faith this morning. That's how metanoia really works. That's how Shub feels on the inside. Most people can only do it for a short time before the noise of everyday life sends them back into survival mode. After the static comes back, the recalculation starts. I need to talk to you about someone. It had been years for this woman to find an experience she was sure was real. For spiritual reasons, she had been to meditation retreats, done yoga, and everything else she could think of. And she said that what she was looking for was something she could almost touch but could never get close to. I could hear the music, she said. I was unable to enter the room. She found a 7-minute audio program made by Dr. Robert Lake, a neuroscientist who has been researching for 34 years. Brain entrainment is the name of the technology that puts a certain frequency directly into sound so that when you listen to it through headphones, your brain starts to match it on its own. Because she was sure of the science, she didn't try it. She did it since she had nothing to lose. What had changed 2 weeks later wasn't focus. There wasn't any productivity. She didn't say what could be better. All she said was one word, synchronicities. She stated, it was like the universe started speaking to me in a language I could finally understand. Some of you are thinking this right now. You've done things before. There were sound healing programs, meditations, and other practices that said they would change something deeply, but nothing did. I get it. And I want to tell you straight out why those methods didn't change what needed to be changed. They aren't going after gamma directly, not because you did anything wrong. They set up situations that might make a gamma state appear. Brain entrainment sends the frequency directly into the brain in a way that can be measured and is always the same. The way you do it is different. What you're going through is different. The name of the tool Dr. Lake is the Genius Song. It's a 7-minute sound file. Putting on headphones and being comfortable are all you need to do to listen. There's no need for a special pose. It's not hard to learn this technique. There's no practice that makes you get up at 4 a.m. and do it every day for months on end. There is no need to build up to a state. It starts with the first session. You are being led straight into one. BOF feedback therapy done by a professional in a clinic costs $300 for one session, which gives you a good idea of how much it costs. About 7 Du Zuan will get you a BOF feedback device for your home before the brain really starts to change, even with serious meditation. You have to do it every day for months. This technology was boiled down by Dr. Lake into 7 minutes of audio. The regular price is $49, but the price has been lowered to $39 because the message is meant for people he thinks are really ready for this season. This is something you won't find anywhere else. Not on Amazon, not on any search engine or streaming service. Only through the link that was left in the comment that was pinned and the message's description. You get 4 extra things with that and 392. A song made just for the kids in your life with music. The first book from which the movie The Secret got its main ideas. A guided image for 4 parts of your life and an easy-to-read picture guide to the 5 most important things you should do every day. It costs $39 for everything. You can get your money back in full if you listen and don't feel any difference. Not any strings attached. There's no need to explain. You are only at risk if you don't try. Just one more thing I need to say before I move on. There are fake items on the internet with this name. There are audio files that don't have any real frequencies, brain entrainment technology, or gamma activation. They're not like the real ones. The link in the pinned comment and the message's description are the only sources that can be trusted. That is the only place where the real method can be found. Don't look for it anywhere else. What you find won't be what we were talking about. If anything in this message struck a chord with you, the frequency, the gamma, or the way things work this morning, please look into it. There's the link. Not as an order, but as the next step if your spirit sees it that way. Because the truth we've been talking about today stays the same whether you use that tool in the morning or not. You are on a frequency. You've had it all along. You used it this morning. It's no longer a question of whether heaven answers when you do. How often you are willing to live at the level you were made for is the question. That's what this next part is about. Let's take a break before we finish. Also, I want you to understand something well. You brought something heavy with you to this message. You might not have called it that. It could have been a simple feeling of being tired or being far away from the life you thought you were supposed to be living, or the weight of someone who has been faithful for a long time but hasn't seen many signs that it helps. I'm going to show you where you are now. You thought your morning was normal when you got there. When you leave, you'll know that heaven saw it. You came here thinking that God already has a plan and that it's your job to find your place in it without making too much trouble. You're leaving because you know you're not part of the plan. The story is about you. That doubt that said your choices don't matter to God and that you are too small to make a difference brought you in. You know that your doubt was really grief, and grief is real. But it was never the real you. You came in after a morning. You are leaving with a frequency that doesn't need to be kept secret. One more thing I want you to know. You're not the only one who feels this way. As you listen to this, there are chosen people around the world who made a choice this morning that no one saw. They didn't want to get up, but someone did. Who didn't say anything when everyone thought they would. Who prayed even though they didn't feel like it and did it anyway. A huge number of them. In the back of their minds, almost all of them think that what they did was too small and private to matter. They're not right. They also need to hear what you said. Think of someone who has been surprisingly quiet lately and who you think is going through something they can't quite explain yet. Send them this message. They only have a morning in them that hasn't been called what it really is. I want to give you 2 things to take with you before we end. Not a spiritual homework, but a strong basis. The first one is what I call the morning seal practice. It takes less than 2 minutes and 3 steps. The first step is to identify yourself. What am I going to pick today? Not just a thought. A clear choice made ahead of time before the day has a chance to name it for you. A release is the second thing to do. What am I not going to bring you today? There is something from yesterday or last year that keeps showing up every morning as if it were still there. Give it a name and let it go before the day starts. The third thing to do is declaration. What am I? Say it in your head, in your car, before you step on the ground. Say your identity over yourself before other people can say something less important about you. That's how the morning seals train. The person who has been chosen doesn't wait to find out what they will be today. They make the choice. The second one is what I call the frequency check. Every morning when you wake up, ask yourself 5 things. Is my response based on what happened or on who I am? Should I protect something good or punish someone who made me think of an old hurt? Am I moving forward because I feel called to or because I want to avoid facing something I haven't faced yet? How much faith do I have right now? Or am I just trying to get by? Are the changes I made to myself this morning the ones I deserved? Those aren't questions of judgment. They are things that can help you change. You can tell if you are on the frequency that moves heaven or the frequency that just gets you through the day by these. There's a difference. You now know what that difference looks like. Let me do what I came here to do. Now, I'd like to talk over you right away. I also want you to get this. Do not break it down. Don't question whether you deserve it. Just take it in. We start by being thankful. I am thankful for everyone who is hearing this right now. Thankful for the years that made you who you are today. For the times that seemed quiet but were really the busiest times of your life, getting ready when you have to pay something in the morning. Also, thanks for showing up anyway, for every prayer that seemed to hit a wall and for being faithful enough to send it up anyway. Every single one of those times, there has been a source there. Do not watch from far away. Even more so than the question itself, it was closer than the silence that made you feel like you were missing someone. He sees you, too. All the things that are weighing you down that no one else knows about. Every question you've kept to yourself because you weren't sure if it was okay to have it. Every little act of faithfulness that you don't have to plan. The ones that no one cheered for. The ones that were so quiet that you almost didn't count them. It's all been seen. Not a single morning has been missed. Not a single one. We now let go. We let go of the story that said heaven doesn't see us because we're too small. Let go. We let go of the idea that the decisions we make only affect the room they were made in. Let go. We let go of the doubt that pretended to be wisdom for years. Let go. We let go of the comparisons to past times that were never meant for us. Let go. Our past limitations were taken away by people who didn't know what they were seeing when they looked at us. Let go. We let go of the old frequency, the shutdown, the survival mode, and the waiting to be told it's safe to hope again. Let go. We let go of the weight of every morning we thought was wasted. And now we get those mornings back as moments that shape us. Let go. When we walked into this message, we let go of everything that belonged to that version of ourselves. We do this now, not when we feel ready. Because letting go is what readiness feels like. Let go. Now we're calling out the seer in you. It's fully awake. Not just feeling things sometimes or catching glimpses, but fully working. Seeing what can't be seen and knowing before the proof comes in. We will turn on the light bearer in you every time you walk into a room from now on. The mood changes when you get there. Not because you say it, but because you bring it with you. We call your inner spiritual warrior full stance. This means that you are standing, not fighting out of fear, but staying true to who you are and not moving on the inside. Even when everything around you is changing, we let go of the words that have been building in your head in the silence. It's all set. You won't think twice when the time comes because the words were always yours. The person in you who breaks cycles, we seal the work we did this morning. Things that ended with you will stay ended. The people who come after you begin in a different spot. A whole generation has changed because of a choice you made today. We're not begging for these things. We don't ask for them as if we might not get them. They belong to you, so we're calling them out. These things have always been yours. We're going to talk about what's coming up and what was set off in you today. Not out of fear, but because it's smart. It's not right to show off what's being built too soon because it's holy. When a breakthrough is close, people tend to hurt themselves. But what was sealed at this moment is safe from that. Sounds from tomorrow or the thoughts of people who are looking at you from a different frequency than the one you are operating in right now can't stop what is starting. It has a cover. Now I'm going to say something over you. I think these are the words you were meant to hear from this message. So I want to say them out loud. I hear the Father speaking over everyone who is reading this right now. You're not behind. You've never been behind. The timeline you have been comparing yourself to is not the important one. It's the one that was written around you and is alive enough to change every time you choose faith. Small plans didn't get cancelled because I was tired of waiting for you. The things you did this morning showed that you are ready to carry out the plan that fits who you are. So I cancelled them. You have made a promise. You have been chosen. You have been sent. You are not behind in getting God's attention and wondering when it will be your turn. God is looking at you right now because of what you need to do. Do not wait to be chosen at last. You've always been picked, and this morning in the middle of your normal life, you pick back up the phone. Do not say anything yet. Take a moment to sit with that. Not in your mind, but somewhere else. You have been waiting a long time to hear what was just said. Find that part of you. Just let it rest there. I can hear the Spirit saying one last thing to you. Use it to walk in. It's done. It's locked up. Take it a minute in His name. Just type I am in the comments right now. If something in this message really moved you rather than I am trying, rather than I am hoping, 2 words, I am the most powerful thing a chosen one can say. Putting your stamp on everything that was said today feels good. If this message confirms something important to you, let your like be more than just a number. Let it be a silent amen. This is the place to be if you want to stay connected with people who are becoming more aware of who they are. More is on the way. Stay close just before you leave. Think of someone who has been steadfastly quiet during a time that no one has yet fully understood. Tell that person about this. They also chose this morning and they should know what it meant. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment. A place where divine abundance is not just a hope but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.